realized that I didn't have the stuff they was trying to test.
How did you know that?
Because I broke open the capsules because they were trying to test some kind of green tea extract, which is available in capsule form in this formulation that they had in Europe. And so, anyway, broke one open, realized it was just like water or glycerin. It didn't have no flavor
that's what they use.
or taste or nothing. And so then I was like, well, I guess this other stuff they had us do was the powder stuff. And it tasted bad and, you know.
Dude, you ruined that whole test because you didn't do what the instructions said.
Whatever. It didn't work for nobody.
Well, yeah, probably because it's a bunch of hooey. They don't tell you the bad results. They only do the good results.
Yeah.
With those studies. They don't tell you all the time, does it make people explode or...
Plus,
that's how they develop new bioweapons.
all the people that was exercising
Oh, yeah.
was taking the powder stuff. They weren't taking the pills. They was just testing the pills on fatties that didn't do no exercise. So they wanted to know if it
Which
actually
is most people.
made them lose any weight.
Why can't they figure out that, you know, if you eat a high fat, you know, high carbohydrate diet and you don't eat, that you're not going to get fat. That's just, you know, nature. It's like they're looking for the fountain of youth.
Yeah. Well, it's just more shit to sell you.
Personally, I do think that that's it. It's the money value, and then they don't have anything else to do with the money. Might as well spend it on scientists.
Yeah.
To keep them in the country.
Right.
And it's a way of stealing other people's scientists. So it already has two extra purposes. And then every once in a while you come up with a really good weapon out of it. So they justify
Something unexpected.
Right. By being kind of like it's defense spending. Pretty much they will give you money to do anything under defense spending. That's how most of the world exists. It's just the
military applications of stuff is what makes innovation move forward.
Which is why I think that's how we should pitch our show, is as a military propaganda type weapon that we can use in other countries to undermine their culture.
You go give this to cameraman.
And
are we ready to do our shot, or
cause them to become?
Are we shooting the show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cause them to become loose and.
Here, that's for Texas being #1. Somebody at work told me. Congratulations. Cheers.
Cheers.
Whew. Ow! 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 I can't believe you're not going to be at the Michael Jackson thing on Saturday. You're such a fan.
Wait, what? I have
not
heard. What is going on?
Yes, you have. I told you about it last week, and you said, oh, it sounds like fun.
I don't recall that at all. What's the deal?
They're trying to break the Guinness Book of World
Oh,
Records.
yeah.
Yeah, see, you know about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I'm going.
Oh, you are?
Did I say I wasn't going? I just had to learn the dance, you know.
Well, you better get to learning it because it's not easy. I was looking at it online because I plan on going. Of course, I'll be in a zombie outfit, so y'all won't recognize me more than likely because I plan to do it up good.
I think I can easily go zombie. I don't think there's very much I need to do.
Well, there's no point in doing it unless you do the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you got to know the dance good,
I'm
so
just
they put
saying.
you on the side where the cameraman's
Oh,
likely
it's
to
organized?
be. Oh, it's like you got to show up and like sign up by
Does it cost
noon.
money?
No, it's free, but you have to register by noon. And if you don't register by noon, you can't count as the Guinness Book of World Record. But I'm going to go if I can get off work. I'm pretty sure I can. And I've started learning the dance.
Do they make you actually do the dance? Or
Yeah,
can
you have to do it. You have to do the dance.
Maybe I could do it just like, a couple seconds after you.
No, you have to
It's
do
out of
it.
time.
Why don't you go to one of the rehearsals or something? They got a couple more, I think. You can look it up on their internet website.
And I just like stand behind somebody. I don't want to learn. You know,
You just wanna be there?
Too much learning in this country.
Oh,
It's
good
too
God.
Much, like,
Let me tell you, my
I've
boss.
got to take a class.
I know my work now has made us start taking some like food safety and knowledge tests, which is total like a time waster.
That's dumb.
I know. I
Just, you know.
I'm like, please.
That must be a government. That's European.
Mm-hmm.
That's European.
It's just one more thing to dehumanize you.
Right. See, they did these tests. These Europeans are smart. They have all this like data, and they know how to control people
Want
from
some of
going
this?
back like way far in time.
Right. These are good.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
They make the best chips.
Well, it kind of goes with the theme of our show. I don't want to show the brand, but it's
Wow.
It's a cheese brand of this chip, a cheese flavor. Tonight on Cooking Good, we're going to make hamburger Hepper.
Oh, yeah,
I
I love it.
the L because it's trademarked.
I love it. That's
But
one of my
hamburger
favorite foods.
Hepper, hip, because it hips your hamburger.
It's in Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so it's real easy to do, and you don't have to actually buy a box of stuff to do it. All you need is some pasta, some hamburger meat, and various seasonings. I'm just going to use the standard onion, bit of garlic, some Italian seasoning. I'm also going to throw in some canned tomatoes. You're going to boil all that up in the same pot with the pasta, and it's going to turn out delicious. Sprinkle a little cheese on top. Just as nutritious, just as easy as the stuff that comes in the box, but a whole lot more nutritious because you can control the ingredients.
Right. Don't have like MSG
Right.
and
So, that's what I'm going to do. Shasta's got a few things she's got going on.
right. I guess that should get some of them out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a chart that I have to draw for all of my things. One of them I don't really understand as much as the rest of it.
Do you need a
Like a pen.
you need a Sharpie or something?
Yeah, I have one somewhere, but it always disappears when I need it. Cameraman gave me one that was like a necklace, and I don't know what happened to it. I need to get me a gold
Here.
chain to put it on. Oh, you guys,
Here's
I
like
have horrible news. I don't know if you've heard yet. but
What's horrible?
Dolomite died.
Oh, good Lord.
Rudy Ray Moore.
What?
Rudy Ray Moore.
Yes,
He's dead?
he died.
Shit.
He was in his 80s, though. I mean, he was like, he died of like an old age thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't kill him or anything.
He died living a full life.
Yes. I mean, you know, for as much as
The
someone-
only way to go, really, in
Yes.
my opinion.
Yes. I have to remember them. Oh, okay. So this is one thing, and Jimbo's been sending me a bunch of science and stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't really feel like reading it, so maybe I'll just sort of guess and see what it's about. And that's pretty much how I came to this idea.
All right.
Okay, so, you know, I always harp on the electromagnetic crap. Well, the deal is that the man already knows that there are these things called weak and strong electromagnetic forces, right?
Right, it
And the weak one is the one that keeps the electrons in the orbit in a certain, what phase? I don't know what they call this. Like a certain, like, way out.
Right.
It's the weak. And it's weak because it's fairly easy. It doesn't take that much energy to pop the electrons out and free them.
Right.
Or like knock them down, or I don't know. I don't know what they do. That's not even really how it works. It's a model. You know what a model is? It's like a really pretty example of something. And as we all know, that's not really the reality.
Right.
You know, that's just
a model
like,
is the ideal.
That's the word. That's the word.
What we
ideal.
want to happen.
Yeah, it's in our heads, not real. Well, that's the same thing with this. My Russian has told me all this science. I don't really understand it, so I might mess up when I explain it. Oh, I feel like someone's choking me.
Are you okay? Do you need some water?
I don't know what it is. I think I'm having a reaction to those chips.
No,
and the
you're
spices.
fine. You're fine. Here, drink some water.
Ugh, I think it's the man trying to interrupt me. Anyway, that's weak, and they're strong, and strong is what holds the center of the thingy, the atom. That's what holds that shit together, and there's like a bunch of shit in there that's smaller, and the strong forces is what holds that together, because like that's hard to rip apart, which is why they has that big super collider over in the French Alps, right? That doesn't work. That costs like millions and billions of dollars.
It's just a money laundering scheme.
Right. Everything is. It's the lesson of the day.
Everything is ultimately money laundering scheme for the man.
Yes. It's what our culture is based on. We wouldn't really have this if we didn't have like scams, the man scams. Anyway, that's the model. But the reality is more like, you know how like a hurricane or a tornado, excuse me, they go around in like a swirly tube, like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's very similar. It's one of the sacred shapes, I guess you would say.
Right.
That's what my spirit guide, the Russian, says. His name.
Tell everybody his name, or does he not?
I call him Manny. But I don't know if that's like like what people called him when he was alive or anything.
Right. He's probably incognito.
Right. Anyway, it's like a spiral, and that spiral comes up in like our DNA. And things like a tornado or like the drain. And it only goes one direction.
Yeah.
A lot like time. Time is very similar to the spiral because it's a sacred shape. It recurs in this universe. That's the rules of physics. Right. So anyway, that's one way energy exists. And this creates this energy, this reality, creates a huge stream of energy.
Yeah.
In opposite directions along the axis of this spin.
Yeah.
And it also has centrifugal energies that exist around, that go around and around.
Yeah.
But those do not, like, you know how they're always talking about waves and particles and shit? Well, the deal is, the way that they've been looking at it is there's very, very weak waves coming out from this thing. So that certain types of radiation are really dangerous, but only if you're really, really close to the radiation. So, like, you have to eat the polonium for it to hurt you, you know, or you have to be, like, really close to the reactor when it melts down.
Right.
You know, or, like, the bomb has to actually drop on you.
Right.
You know, the radiation has to, like, go through your eyeballs or something. Okay. Well, that's because it's hitting it on this side, right?
Gonna hit this with just a touch of olive oil.
And
this
if
is
you,
just about a cup of onion. Sorry, maybe a little more.
No, it's okay.
And I'm also just going to cut in just a touch of balsamic vinegar. It's maybe 2 teaspoons. Just to give the onions a little punch, and that'll richen up the flavor of the ground beef a little bit. Okay, go ahead.
So if you have all this twisting energy, then what you will see as a result of this physical reality is streams of very squeezed, kind of pureed energy
Right.
coming out like there, like this way and this way. And those things are like what they call like gamma ray bursts and stuff. It's just a very, very thin stream of energy going really, really fast and hard.
Yeah.
So like it would like, just go through you. I don't know, maybe it would kill you, I don't know. There's this whole deal that the scientists say about cosmic rays are falling through us all the time because they're so small.
Yeah,
They don't
just
come in
They
contact.
just come straight through the atmosphere.
Right. But I think that's only theoretical.
I think it has to do with different dimensions, you
Yes.
know. That we experience bleed over
Right.
particles from different dimensions, and
Yes.
that causes a lot of disruptions in our physics. Because, we model the physics on our perception of reality, which is that things have a definite order. But if you
Yes.
throw in all these other dimensions, then things get skewed, and it's really beyond comprehension for most people. And I think that's what a lot of it is. That's my
Yes.
personal opinion.
I think so. It's as if, this is how I like to think about it. It's as if the universe keeps replaying the game
Yeah.
because it wants a different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this sort of multiplicity of tries at it. But every time it's like, it gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Which is why people torture guinea pigs. It's like, and take pictures of it. It's horrible to admit. It's like the worst thing ever you want to think about. But that's why the man does it. Because he knows it gets
It
your
affects
goat.
you. It gets you right here in the heart.
Right.
Right in the heart.
Which I think that this comes down to this turmoil that's happening here happens inside of us and creates these giant, very directed bursts.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the next sort of revelation I wanted to have, which is about the rocks giving us the power, which is what the pyramids were actually for. The pyramids was developed because rocks has a natural electric charge when under a great deal of pressure. Doesn't really have to be that much pressure. And the pyramids were designed to focus the pressure. So you have like big heavy rocks all up in there. And it's in a perfect sacred form of a pyramid, which is one of the sacred shapes in our reality in this universe.
Yes.
And then they do something with it, with the shafts and all that shit, and it focuses this sort of emotional gamma ray burst that goes up into space. It's pointed up in the Rhine's belt.
Right.
And what I think it was, and the whole meaning of the pyramids and the way they're set out, is it was a cry for help. It was like, please come get me. These people are killing me. I can't stand this planet Earth.
Well, that
Come and
explains
get
why
me
so many man hours and like resources were put into actually making them.
Yes. It was like, fuck this shit. I tried mating with the women here. It created these monster children that
That's
I
why
cannot
the people
stand.
were probably, for the most part, willing to go and serve
Yes, because they
and
were.
build the pyramid, because they're like, we'll go with you. Of course, that wasn't actually true, You
Was
know
just
that
the
you know,
scam.
the rulers was actually going to be the only ones to get to go.
You know, it's like Jesus saying, "Come my house, it's many mansions."
Uh-huh.
It's like if your Savior told you that, but it turned out not to be true.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe if like what you believe, it totally turns out after you're dead to totally be like wrong.
Right.
You know, that's like fucking you up the ass. You know, you spent your whole life advocating,
Believing in.
believing, and you know that abortion was
to
wrong.
get that giant chip. I don't know. I don't think you're having an allergic reaction to the chips.
Oh no, it's the shit they put on the chips.
You
It's
think?
called salt. And you know what? That's how the man is killing us. It's salt
Mmm.
and fried shit.
Mmm.
Because they did a study, it was in the newspaper this morning, that people who eat junk food diets are like 30% more likely to have heart attacks or something.
Yeah. Well, I don't eat all junk food, but I eat a lot of it. I have been conditioned to do so. The programming worked, in other words.
And it tastes good. I mean,
But I'm good about like not eating fast food. I haven't eaten at a fast food joint in I don't know how long. You know?
well, but you're like a model person.
No, I'm not. There's
Right,
people
most
way
people
better
don't
than
do
me.
No,
Okay, this is slightly less than a pound of ground beef. And I'm just going to throw this in here with the onions that I've allowed to cook up a little bit.
Did you watch that video of that monkey on the Segway I sent you?
No, I did not. It's not that I didn't want to. I just didn't have time.
But you know what? You could see at 4 minutes of this monkey riding this Segway that he learned every time he fell off that Segway. He learned something.
Yeah. Well, monkeys are people.
Right.
People are monkeys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was at least as clever as the man who was following him around dressed like him, you know, on another Segway.
Right. This is just, the ground beef I had was real lean, so it was, need a little tiny bit more oil. So I just splashed it with some more olive oil so I could deglaze the pan.
What does that mean, deglaze?
It means to like, whenever you're cooking something, you okay?
I've had the worst allergies ever since I built my trail in the backyard.
Oh, well, there must be some plutonium or something in the soil.
I think it's that diatomaceous earth chlorine.
Oh, I bet it
shit
is.
that comes out of the pool.
It's not supposed to.
It's, you know what?
You need to like.
It's a wonderful thing having a pool.
You need to get me, Mom Duke, to put in one of them saltwater filtration systems.
What the fuck is? Oh, is that like
It's
organic?
like yes, it's all natural and you don't need chemicals.
Oh,
You
yeah,
just have
yeah,
to change up some equipment and it's.
You just throw salt in like every 2 months.
Oh, dude, that's exactly
Yeah,
what
you
it's.
just have to have. You just need to tell them about
Plus,
it.
I float in that shit.
Yeah,
man.
you don't want to be floating in that chlorine.
No, see, I
You
think.
open your eyes underwater, it doesn't hurt.
Oh, see, that's actually how white people evolved. Because we was hairless white people that had to move because we was all albinos and the black people was going to kill us and eat us. And so we run off, formed our own colony, and we was smarter and like had bigger noses and just way more fashion sense. But we weren't very good at sports or games.
Right.
Dancing. But we all got together and we decided we was going to eat like shellfish out the wazoo because it's really easy. And so we got a lot more protein than the people still eating like leaves and mangoes and shit like that.
Right, right.
So, like, we ate shellfish that was just sitting on the shore.
I mean, some people died, obviously, because you can get real sick from eating shellfish.
Yeah, but this was
But
back,
the benefits of eating more protein,
Yes.
like,
grew our brains
Yeah.
way big.
over time. This is just some Italian seasoning. It's just a mixture of your common Italian herbs and spices, rosemary, oregano, thyme, basil, etc., etc.
I think that they sent that whole mission to go study the heliosphere and how it's shrinking because of something that we said on the show. I think that people was watching our show, some spook, and said from NASA, and called up some friend of his at NASA and said, Shasta Cole said the other day that...
Do you really think so?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because the other day I was watching the show and it was all about electromagnetism on the Discovery Channel. And it was all about like how electromagnetic forces can be created, and we realized that that can create a force to levitate. And they can actually get a really powerful electromagnet and levitate this frog in there. So he's floating around.
So the frog's just like floating
like he's
in space
no gravity.
over electricity.
No gravity, because gravity doesn't exist. So
You moved. Oh.
it fell off. So anyway, the whole deal with the frog is, and so I'm like, well, this is new. It's since I started talking about this shit on the show.
2 cloves of garlic, just to let y'all know. It's going in here.
So I wait the whole rest of the show and read the end of it, and has to do the new Roman numerals and all that bullshit. And then I find out the show was made in 2002, which was before we even started filming the show.
Well, it just means that the whatever information was there. I'm just going to add a little pepper and some salt.
I have this one.
And then give it a stir.
I think some of those Sunday preachers over on the east side have had a little too much excitement and ruined these fucking mics.
Well, whoever uses this equipment, and it's not always us, we're always real careful with it. We never break it. Somebody else just must be running it through the ringer.
One of these is all scuffed up, like somebody stepped on it.
Why? Why would you do that? Why would
Okay,
you
can I
ruin it
tell
for
you why?
everybody else?
Because every little way that you wear down the man is a new Fabrice being that you have created into life.
So what did you mean by that exactly? Oh, we need to tell people our news.
Oh yes, we hasn't even gloated
We haven't.
yet.
Pardon us, we need to gloat. But before we gloat, I'm gonna
That
put
smells
this
good.
can of
I'm gonna open
diced
another beer.
tomatoes into my hamburger, onion, garlic, Italian seasoning mixture. And I hope I can open this because it's kind of dented.
Oh, you're not
have to
supposed
open
to
it.
buy dented cans. Mima told me that.
Well, I got this one from, the
Because they might get the botulism in
the
them if they
pan-
lose their seal.
the pantry,
So I was reading all on the Alex Jones website,
Yeah.
who we, obviously beat.
Yeah, why don't you go in there and get one of them papers?
Oh, yeah. People,
And,
this gonna freak people in India out. Because you think that we's just some kind of low class, no account scum. Well, check this out, bitches!
Woo! Cola's sister's on the cover of the Chronicle.
Check that shit out. Look at the authenticity of this newspaper. I do not think that we would go to the trouble to make it look this real.
And
don't have the money to do that.
we actually are on the cover right now as we film. We are currently on the cover.
This is like the news in our town.
Everybody who reads this newspaper is looking at us when they get it.
Yeah, like hip people in our town.
And I don't know how that happened. I can't open this can.
It's called The Universe Loves Us, and we know it. That's like Oprah says, when you're just, when you're going by what you should be doing, the universe will reward you.
Okay, so I barely got that can open, and I made a horrible mess doing
Well, I wanted to
it.
show our certificate.
Oh yeah, show our certificate. We got a certificate.
We got a certificate on real paper. It's like It's kind of like
But to be fair, when we
really like cardstock.
when we won the A-list, we got a whole banner, like a huge room-size banner, and also we got a framed certificate.
Yeah, framed certificate.
But you know what? The Chronicle.
This is colored though. It has.
Can we
like
say the name of it? The Chronicle.
As long as you're critiquing it.
Okay, so the Chronicle lets you get a banner, but you got to pay for it.
You can't say how much.
No, okay, so you got to pay for it. And same thing if you want T-shirts.
Ooh, I didn't know there was a T-shirt.
Yeah, you got a T-shirt.
Oh, well, I have one, but I got it for free because I'm a winner. But if you want to buy it for like your friends,
They cost like $15 a piece.
Fuck that.
Okay.
That's like how much we should offer our T-shirts.
So I put in a large can of crushed tomatoes.
48 plus. That's
And
a
then
lot.
maybe about a quarter cup of water. And I'm going to give it a stir, and then I'm going to add some pasta.
So why is this chips like your show today? I don't understand.
Well, because they kind of match the theme of our hamburger Hepper, in that it's an Italian style. You know, they got several different kinds, like the macaroni and cheese kind, and they got the Italian kind, and that's the kind I'm making right now. So you want to stir in, this is maybe slightly more than a cup of pasta. You can use any kind of pasta you like. And I don't like to add a whole lot of water because this pasta is going to soak up some of this. You want it to be a little bit more firm, not quite so soupy. And just kind of mash it down in there. And then I'm going to put a lid over it and let it cook up for as long as it takes for the pasta to get done, which, you know, could be 8 to 10 minutes, depending on the pasta you used. Okay, so this is on like a medium heat. You just want to let it come to a boil. You might need to turn it down, but just keep an eye on it. And that's as simple as it is. After that, all you need to do is just the seasoning. You know, maybe add a little more salt and pepper if you want. And it's done.
Can you make that on like a campfire or something?
You could, because it only needs like it's a one-pot dish.
You know, I'm buying me some stock in Coleman because all them survivalists are all like, you gotta get that Coleman
I think that's
stove."
like stuff put out by Coleman.
I think it might be. That's a smart idea.
I think it's
You know what?
advertising.
Why couldn't we get some kind of job hawking shit for
Survivalist.
survival stuff?
Well, that's it. If you got a business that has to do with survivalist stuff, we will be your spokesmodels.
Right.
You just contact us at colasisters@gmail.com.
And we'll have an arrangement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's exactly how, you know, the sort of free market, you know, bootstrap American way. That's patriotism, you know.
Right.
None of this globalist shit. I'm sorry, I'm going totally local. I'm going to come out against the man. You know, we all have to work for the man.
Yeah.
And we have to take his handouts and all
Yes,
that shit, which
of
is
course.
really demoralizing. But we don't have to, excuse me, agree with him.
Whoa.
You know, just because we work for him and we're his slaves.
Are you okay? Good Lord,
I have
Shasta.
these horrible allergies. But anyway, yeah, just because we're like a chattel to him doesn't mean we can't smart our mouths off when he's not around.
Right.
I mean, thank the Lord we still have free speech in this country, or both me and you would be dead.
Well, but do we really have a whole lot of free speech? I mean, really?
Well, I can show my butt whenever I please in my house. And I can choose
Yeah,
to
but you can't
charge
show
for
your
it.
butt out in public or you get charged with indecent exposure. That's not freedom of speech.
No. 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 Freedom of speech is like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just like, you know, you can have an opinion and the secret police isn't going to come and send you off to the camps or something. Besides, like, that's so, like, last century. Like, freedom of speech is like, they don't have that in other countries.
No, it's
They
a
don't-
uniquely American phenomenon.
It's just some crap the man came up with that it was like a new marketing idea back in
Right,
like,
it's a gimmick.
right.
It's like, oh, but
red, white, blue.
you have this advantage here.
Yes.
But it's selectively enforced.
It's a way of getting the workers who they still needed at the time.
Right. Like if you try to organize as workers against the man, he's going to put a stop to your freedom of speech.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, he's going to put a stop to your laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what Norman Ray was all about.
Nothing irks the man more than organizing workers.
Ooh, that's true.
You know.
Oh, being anti-war.
Right, that too. But like, if you're organizing the workers, his slaves, basically, he don't like that
That's
at
probably
all.
worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why he only lets the mob do it.
Right. You got to contract that shit out to a sociopath.
You've got to go, I'm hiring Whack and Hut to do my union organizing.
Yeah.
I don't need you people to get any ideas of your own in your own heads. That's why I can't give you education or books.
So check it out. It's boiling up. I'm going to turn down the heat some.
Which is why the man loves illegal immigration.
Oh, yeah.
Because it brings a bunch of people who are very, very desperately poor.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't give them any education.
No. They're just there to work.
But he doesn't want to make them smart.
No, of course not. Because they might organize against him.
I think that actually the man concentrates. He knows his enemy's weaknesses. And so he concentrates on whatever that is. Because he's smart. He doesn't want to waste his resources. At least insofar as his immediate control is situated. I think really the man, like the real men behind the men that we see, that they are probably disabled, extremely intelligent, very very, very wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just hire these other people because, you know, they're afraid. They're very, very afraid. So they hire, like, you know, really confident
Yeah.
people who excelled in debate at school, you know, like Henry Kissinger, you know, people who have access to grind, passion for their job,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like Zbigniew or, you know, even Jimmy Carter, for goodness sake. So they you know, they hire them to sort of run the world. And they're
Right.
very despondent. And I think they might give us money to, like, do their kind of, they could, like, maybe convince somebody that it was okay because we were undermining morale in, like, Czechoslovakia or someplace
Right.
like that. Or maybe France. Like, every bad, like, they have such high standards in their culture that everything American insults them.
Right.
So, like, maybe we could be sent to France to insult them so much they lost all, like, I don't know, will to live, and they all killed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Or surrendered.
Well, while we're on the topic of the man, how much time we got, cameraman?
20 minutes.
Oh, we got tons of time.
Got tons of time. I still have one more topic to cover.
I might just, like, be done with this before our time is up.
We can eat it.
Yeah, we can always eat it. As you can see, it's starting to thicken up. And the pasta's starting to get done. Still needs a few more minutes, so just kind of mush it back down in the liquid and cover it again. See how quick that is? You don't need to buy that box. You can just get, like, simple stuff at the store, like, You know, you can buy the pasta in bulk like I did, or you can get a big old package of it. And it's going to cost you, like
it's
all the
why they
ingredients
took Martha
together, it's going to
Stewart down.
cost you less than just, you know, buying that box of shit.
That's why they took Martha Stewart down, because she was saying simple things, you know? And they were like, fuck that. We got to sell our chemicals. We got to get those people full of them chemicals.
Yeah.
Or else our plan won't work. So let's get her on some securities fraud or something. I mean, it's really difficult to take down Martha Stewart. I mean, how many crimes did she commit in a
Well,
day?
but they didn't take her down. They just slapped her on the wrist. Because if they would have taken her down, they would have killed her. Given her the pancreatic cancer or whatnot and been done with her.
Yeah, that's true.
They made her into a distraction, which is one of their favorite things to do. Like OJ. OJ was made into a distraction.
Almost everything you read in the paper is a made-up distraction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, try to name one that's real.
Yeah.
I can't even think
It's hard.
of one.
It's hard to come up with stuff like, you know,
I can't think of a single thing that's happening right now that isn't totally
orchestrated.
right, contrived, planned.
Well, speaking of contrived and planned things, it is time for me to work one of my special voodoo art curses. I was able to go to the Dallas area over the past week, and I visited the state fair, which was fun. And I also happened to go to the site of the JFK assassination. And, you know, it's a public place. It's just kind of a road and a small little plaza they built during the Great Depression.
It's public?
Yeah, it's public.
Wow.
Now, where he died is actually a street. Cars drive over it, you know, every day.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he died at the hospital, maybe not, but like
kind of
where he actually got shot was
demeaning.
like in the street, and they have a big old X that marks
They
the
do
spot.
that same shit to Princess Diana.
Yeah,
Shit's
it's kind of
still a
morbid.
road.
People are always taking pictures, but anyway. So there's also the book depository where Oswald supposedly fired off the fatal shot, and up there they have this thing called the 6th Floor Museum.
The sex floor
The
museum?
6th Floor Museum. And it's a museum about JFK and the assassination. And they're very strange. And they don't actually let you see out the window where Oswald supposedly fired the fatal shot.
Oh, you would think they'd be the center of it.
No, they don't actually let you see out that window. They blocked it off with plexiglass and covered it up with boxes.
Well, why would they do that?
Well, obviously, because they don't want you to be able to look out that window and say, there's no fucking way that JFK was shot from this window, because
It's
he was,
true.
if you look at the X in the street, he was far down the road.
It
It just doesn't happen the way that the Warren Commission said.
There's
and if you
no
go to that
way the
museum,
angle.
you know for a fact. Because you walk up there and you're like, hello. It's impossible. It's just impossible.
Yeah, it had to have been. I mean,
Fired
think
from the
about
front.
From the front.
It was fired from the front. It snapped his head back. I mean, everybody saw the Zapruder movie.
Right, the entrance wound is small.
Mhm.
The exit wound is huge. Blew
Yeah.
the back of his head off. It
So-
came in like that.
Yeah, so we
Slight angle because part of his face was blown off.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you can tell it wasn't exactly right in front. It was off
And
to
the
side.
window where Oswald supposedly fired the shot is completely behind.
Behind it
It's
up.
behind and way far up.
Sixth floor.
If
Think
he
about
had
it.
been shot by Oswald, he would have gone in the back of his head and possibly the very top.
Yeah, and it really wouldn't have been very good for
No.
the sight lines for
No.
the Zapruder
No.
film.
No.
But it looked really freaky, and you would have gone, did his head just explode?
Yeah. So anyway.
You know, there wouldn't have been his face, you know, afterwards.
So anyway, the reason why I'm putting a curse on the 6th Floor Museum specifically and auxiliarily all of the people involved in the JFK assassination and the cover
You know who you are.
Yes, you do. You all
And
know.
you know you're watching. I know you are.
Uh-huh. Or one of your minions is watching and writing a report. So
And you know who you are. Because, like, half of them live in this town. I don't know why we're like a magnet for the elite.
So anyway, I went to this museum. I paid an exorbitant fee to go inside. They have posted everywhere signs saying you cannot take pictures inside our museum. And so I was like, well, I want to take a picture of like my little stuffed armadillo because I got pictures of him all over the world.
Usually it's
in places that I visited.
Usually it's just flash.
And so I turned the flash off, you know, thinking like if I can take pictures inside the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
But not in the room
in
with
New
Winnie
York
the Pooh.
City. But not of Winnie the Pooh, that's right.
Because all the benefactors are all the,
Yeah.
what do you call them?
I don't know. Esters. Anyway, so I went far away to a secluded corner. I turned my flash off. I put Mr. Armadillo on the banister of a stairwell, and I proceeded to take his portrait inside the museum. Away from the exhibits, there was nobody around, and keep this in mind. I squeezed off a test shot, which is what you see here. And as you can see, there's nothing. There's nothing there.
It's like a ghost or something. It's like a head.
Well, it's because the exposure was bad and I was holding the camera and it kind of...
Where's the armadillo?
Well, he's not in. This was my test shot to see if it would turn out. And anyway, I took this shot and then put Armadillo up on the banister and took a second shot. And then immediately a security person came out of nowhere and demanded that I not only stop taking photographs, but that I erase the photographs that I had already taken. And that person walked up to me and stood right next to me and watched while I deleted the picture that I had just taken. Now, I was lucky in that I just pretended like I took only one picture, in that I saved this one, which was the test shot without the armadillo.
Now, why would they give a fuck?
Exactly! That's what I want to know. Why
in
would they
this
give
old
a
fucking
shit?
warehouse.
Yeah, like there's nothing in this picture.
You can't
There's
get
nothing.
near you can't even get near the window where he shot out of.
This is not even near it. This is nowhere near it. In fact, this is in a part of the building that's on the other side. Like you can't even see it from there. But they still immediately knew that I was taking a photograph. And the only way they could know that is if they were watching on their security cameras, which were abundant, and looked to see.
They're everywhere. They're looking at you.
They're watching me. So I put a curse on them because what the fuck do they have to hide? That's what I want to know.
Well, they killed him. That's it.
Yeah.
They killed
I'm
him.
tired of this Warren Commission bullshit. They shot JFK. They fucking assassinated his ass in Dallas, Texas, and the evidence is right there.
And it obviously involves people who are from Texas because you don't do that kind of, you don't shit where you eat.
No.
So they weren't from Texas. I mean, they weren't from Dallas.
No.
But they sure as hell are from Texas.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I'm not calling out like my countrymen, but I think these are basically carpetbaggers who've come in, stolen our natural resources, moved it offshore, and blamed the whole downfall of Western civilization on our poor state.
Yeah.
When, you know, basically it's a really rich, good state.
Yeah.
A bunch of assholes live here, but there's some good people, right?
There's resources that you could be independent if you needed to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you don't get them harsh winters.
No, it's like nice here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I just need to point this out real fast before I complete my curse. That this photograph, even though it was taken away from any of the exhibits, and it does not show the actual window where the purported assassination took place, it does provide a somewhat example of how they blocked off the original window. They have also blocked off this window. I think it's just for decorative effect, you know, like as a balance because they're on opposite corners of the building. But you can see that they have stacked the boxes so that you can't actually look out the window And then just to make sure nobody goes through there, they put plexiglass around the whole thing. Now, if you go to any kind of art museum in New York City, you can actually look at the art. It's not protected by plexiglass. They put a sensor around the bottom of the floor that lets people know when you have broken the invisible line. So then the security guard comes. But this museum has taken the extra step to make sure that nobody gets their nose up in that fucking window. This isn't the window. This is just what it kind of looks like.
I've been to the window because...
Used to, this is the other thing. Used to,
you
you could go there and look at it.
Because, the man hadn't got caught on to the whole fact that it's a money-making exploit.
Right.
They
Now,
didn't think anyone would care.
yeah, now, apparently in the last 6 or 7 years, they suddenly have a prohibition on you actually looking out the window. I think it's because of digital photography, personally.
Yeah, you could tell everybody, look, there's no way. Here's
Here.
one shot, that's it.
Here's my ticket stub. You can see it even says on the ticket stub, no photography. They're real serious about it.
They say that there were live oaks, and it's the same live oaks that are there. Mm-hmm. And they don't lose their leaves till after, in the spring.
Here's my ticket stub and my illegal photograph that I saved.
Are you going to burn it?
Uh-uh.
Going to send it to Henry Kissinger?
He wouldn't know what the fuck it was.
Well, yeah, right, but you could, it would be like a bad juju on him. Sometimes it's good just to fuck with the man because it, creates this whole Febreze being around him and fucks him up for a while. If the man is going to play mind games with you, why can't you play mind games with the man? That's
what I like to do with my art voodoo curses.
I think you should send it to Henry Kissinger. I don't really see that there's anybody in our viewing audience, though they may run the free world, that they're really any more important than we are. I think that since we have attained our recent fame, we're entitled to just as much of a say as any other pinhead. Mm-hmm. Which brings me to the other reason I had to use this chart, which is to show that I've been obsessed. Remember I was talking about the inverted yield curve, and it always went like that, and that predicts a recession a year in advance. Well, strangely enough, there's been this phenomenal increase in volume in the stock market, beginning in there's two times, 1983 and 1999 or 2000. And it's volume. If you look at the stock market and you look at volume, wherever they talk about volume, it's real flat line through, from the beginning, since the 30s, through the 60s and the 70s. And then you get in the 80s, and it fucking increases by an exponential amount. By 10 to maybe the third.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get to 1999 and it gets hugely bigger. More of an amount of 10 to the 7.
Yeah.
Right? So I've always been just fascinated because when you have increase in volume, you always have increase in value. Mm-hmm. So it was a way that wealth was increasing exponentially, apparently. And I couldn't figure out why it seemed to be happening in October of 1982.
Yeah.
There's a very sharp hugeness to the chart, right? Yeah, I mean, it's very visible, and it never goes back down. You know, you think how, like, organic processes work, like, you know, they follow sacred shapes, right? You know, but this is, like, really weird. And then it happens again in, like, October of 1999, which corresponds to a fiscal year, right?
Yeah.
So I couldn't figure it out. And I think what that must have happened is that they refloated the banks, or they refloated the money in October of 1982 and also in October of 1999. Because this volume, I found out, just doing a Google search
Yeah.
on the online interwebs,
Yeah.
that, what was I saying? Oh, that volume is caused by liquidity, which is another word for credit, freer credit. So the exponential amounts, I'm not sure what caused these particular amounts, but I think it probably has to do with valuation. And because they're exponential numbers, I'm thinking that what these people did who refloated the banks or the currency, probably the dollar, is they went by a value of 10, which is why you see this exponential amount. So I bet they were like, okay, I'm going to give you this for this. But they did it secretly because I had read about that shit in the newspaper or in a book. That's my theory. Well, so anyway, that's one of the things that the man is trying to cover up. It's all of his crimes, you know. Oh.
Why don't you hold up my art for the camera real fast while I wash out the brush?
I even think that they came up with that whole Y2K bullshit to cover up the fact that they had to refloat at about that time.
Be
Due
careful,
to long-term capital management going down.
the paint's still wet.
Ah, I'm bleeding. They gave the Dalai Lama fucking like pancreatic cancer.
That's our favorite disease to foist upon their enemies.
Must be really easy to do.
Okay, so as you can see, this is steamed up quite nicely. I want to grab me
Those look like innards.
a spoon and taste it, and then
Like
fix the
innards.
seasoning. Why did you drop that? That's my curse.
Well, I didn't mean to.
I'm going to stick it over here with my other curse. There.
I'm sure most of those people is already dead.
It's pretty tasty. I'm going to add just a little tiny bit of Parmesan cheese to kind of give it some punch, and I think it will be ready to serve. How much time we got left? 2 minutes. Perfect. Well, why don't you tell them how to get a hold of us, Shasta? You know, I keep giving you...
Shasta.
No, that's not it. Okay. I'm trying to give you a chance to actually, like, tell people these things.
What does it matter?
In
Because
case
the
you get
internet's
lost
gone
one
away.
day and you can't figure out where you are, you'll know how to get in touch with me.
Oh, you know what? If I can't figure out where I am, and I can't, and I still need to get in touch with you, I'm sure I'll find some smart boy to figure it out for me.
All right. colasisters@gmail.com is the best way. MySpace.com/RCCola, ARCIECOLA. MySpace.com/Shastac, SHASTAC. You can leave us a voicemail at 512-782-HEAT, HEAT. You can send us something in the mail to Cola Sisters at P.O. Box 302-102, Austin, Texas, 78703. We come on Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock on Channel 16. We have been voted the best in Austin twice by both major newspapers in our town.
It was by readers.
By the readers of our papers.
Which means we're popular.
Which means people like our show. So hopefully y'all are having a good time watching us, and you'll tell all your friends. And that's it. This has been Cooking Good. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Hamburger Hepper, Italian style.
Helps you make a great meal.
Or something like that. This is good. Can tell already.
It sounds gross.
Does it?
It sounds like sex.
Well, at least it's not that farting sound when you're like doing it from behind, and
Like
you get
a
a lot
queef.
of like a queef,
Queef.
and your pussy just like farts out. That's so embarrassing.
I love it.
Or when you're fucking
Oh,
missionary
yes.
style and you're naked
Yes.
and you're both
And your
like
body is doing that.
your body is fart.